Hi, I'm Ricardo.
And I'm Rebecca.
Welcome to Tips, a show where we talk about tourism, traveling, internships, study groups, professional programs, anything related to study. So today we're going to talk about the biggest misconceptions international visitors have about Australia. So what do you think, Rebecca?
Okay, all right. Well, I think the first one is that it takes too long to get here or we're too far away. And of course, when we can get on planes safely again, I think it's well worth the trip to be here. So I am surprised at a number of people who might think that is a barrier. So yes, we are closer than you think.
I completely agree. I think it's seriously a matter of hours, you know. And for example, my family is in Colombia.
Yes.
My sister lives in Brazil. I'm here in Australia. And I see my mom a lot more often than my sister, even though they're very close geographically speaking. So it doesn't really make a difference, I think.
Yes.
So I agree with you. What would be another point?
Another one I think is just the space, the green, the diversity of the Australian environment. I think people see postcards, of course, of our major iconic, you know, the Great Barrier Reef and our beaches and our Opera House, but actually the diversity of what we have on offer here in Australia, and in fact the deep cultural history that we have in Australia from our Indigenous owners of Australia. So I think people are surprised at how much culture we have and also how rewarding those experiences are. They're quite unique. You don't get to do them anywhere else in the world. And I think this year was a focus on Indigenous tourism. So there's more product now being developed and owned by Indigenous Australians to share that history and knowledge. I do also think our definition of regional, we talk about regional Australia, and in our definitions, regional Australia is 1 hour drive from a major city. Geelong in Melbourne is called regional Australia. In any other country that I go to, that's a city. That's what it takes you to get from, well, not even across a city. Think Jakarta, think major cities. So I think distance once you get here and our notion of regional Australia. And given we've all been here during COVID, and I'm fortunate to live in Queensland, so I've been able to experience Queensland driving and travelling during COVID, it just reminded me how much we have on offer here. And also in every part of Australia, our institutions are spread. We have great institutions in those regional locations, which really do offer a fantastic opportunity if you're here for a short stay or a long stay. So
and I think people don't really realize how big and modern the cities are. You know? People really seriously believe, I'm going to see kangaroos and I'm going to see all these animals, and it's like any other city, but it works. You know, especially if you come from developing countries, public transport works. There's so many types of public transport. There's all these services. It just works. And that surprised me. And for example, the first 10 years I was in Australia, I didn't have a car because I didn't need one because it works. So it's something that you don't really realize when you're overseas. Because yes, as you said, people think it's far away, so they don't really think about Australia. But yes, that surprised me. And that was a misconception I had.
Can I relate to that too? Because where we are now, recording this in Brisbane, if I drive 20 minutes in either direction, I can see koalas and kangaroos in the wild. I don't have to go to a zoo. They're there at the beautiful Daisy Hill Reserve, or they're out around my dad's property out past Ipswich. So it's accessible as well. It's there for everyone.
Perfect. So to wrap up, what do you think? What's the top 3 misconceptions?
Top 3 misconceptions about Australia. We're too far to get to. We probably won't be saying that when we're allowed to travel again in a post-COVID world. That when we say regional, we don't mean rural. We're actually talking about big and beautiful cities. And yes, you may not be riding a kangaroo to school. You better not be riding a kangaroo to school, but you will have access to see them either in our outback or here in the city as well.
Perfect. So you can find me in LinkedIn as Ricardo Gutierrez, Betsy Accommodation Solutions.
And I'm Rebecca Hall 0.